Hello.
Hi, Rosabel. How are you?
Hi, David. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I've got some big news. This is going to be the last Flightless Bird of 2025 because we're having a couple of weeks off.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, how do you feel about that?
What a year it's been.
What a year. What have you learned? What have we learned? Have we learned anything?
We've learnt so much. I've learnt um, about that Mexican chain store that I've already forgotten the name of.
Chipotle.
Chipotle. I was like, jalapeno?
Close. Okay, that's one thing. What else have you learned? Has Flightless Bird taught you anything else?
I'm sure it has, but at the moment I couldn't really say. But if I had to write a eulogy, I would have some things to say for sure.
Okay. Well, the show's not going away. It's just going on a holiday. It's not a eulogy. We're coming back on January 6th, which is obviously a very important day in America. It's Capitol Riots Day. We like to honor we like to honor that wonderful day by returning on January 6th.
That's great. That's good to acknowledge your history.
I had another question for you, and it relates back to today's topic. We're looking at a parasocial podcast listener, and I was thinking about this because I was wondering, as I've gotten much more famous, and I'm quite a big deal now here in America and sort of worldwide. Do you feel our relationship has become a bit more parasocial?
Like, do I have a parasocial relationship to you?
That's what I was angling at.
Yeah, okay. I suppose I've always felt that, do I really know the real you? Are you just calling and recording our conversations for money? And actually,
Mm.
do we even have a real friendship?
Yeah, and if we don't anymore, when did that real friendship stop?
Or when did it start?
And what was that real friendship? And was the real one better than this, whatever we've got now?
I did my master's sort of on parasocial relationships.
Oh, incredible. What did you sort of take away from that?
I did my master's on the psychological benefits of fiction, and parasocial relationships was an element of that, and the way in which they do actually alleviate people's sense of loneliness.
Oh, that's so nice. So, I mean, it's interesting because in this episode, I'm sort of going to argue for the parasocial relationship a little bit. So that fits in quite nicely.
I guess the thing is, like, I don't know if I ever learn anything new about you when I listen to the podcast. So, if anything, it's.
That's interesting. I mean, you're not really meant to be learning about me. You're meant to be learning about America, aren't you?
I feel like people do want to learn about you. They're interested in you.
Do you think maybe in 2026, when the podcast comes back, January 6th, maybe I sort of make the show more about sort of maybe there's a section where I give away something about myself, something private. That would increase the parasocial listeners, wouldn't it?
Maybe, yeah, in honor of January 6th, you could storm your own capital, your own heart.
Oh, storm my own capital, my own psyche. I feel that's something my therapist is trying to get me to do to sort of address me, but I'm always trying to distract him with other things, you know?
Yeah, that's a classic trick. But we should maybe next year a new feature could be you could share a 5-minute snippet from your therapy sessions.
Or should I share a 5-minute conversation we have outside of this podcast?
No, that's absolutely never going to happen.
Wow. Okay. Rosabel, I'd also like to say thank you so much for accepting my calls all year. Every couple of weeks I call you and I've got a topic and you always give such a delightful, sometimes insightful answer.
I guess the thing is, often I think you're calling me for friendship, and then it's not until I pick up that I realize it's not a friendship situation.
And that sort of brings us back to our sort of original thing, isn't it? Of what even is this? What is this friendship? What is it? What the hell is this?
What is it, actually? What is it?
Okay, I gotta go. Bye.
What?
I'm David Farrier, a New Zealander accidentally marooned in America, and I want to figure out what makes this country tick. Now, thanks to you wonderful people who listen to this podcast, we get a lot of really interesting emails to flightlessbirdchat@gmail.com. There are some real duds too, but most of them are really, really good. And some of them end up being really, 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 really great, like this one, which landed in our inbox at 12:15 p.m. on November 19th. Sorry in advance, but this is a long one. If you have the patience to make it through, I applaud and thank you dearly. Anyway, I'm writing not just to thank you for what you do, but to also tell you a little bit about how you've inspired me. First, though, I wonder if you've ever thought about the well-documented, but nonetheless surprising parasocial phenomenon of how your listeners inevitably begin to feel as though they have a close personal relationship with you. I swear I'm not delusional enough to believe that's true, but I just think it's amusing to recognize this funny thing and hoped it would make you smile to think about all the people out there who feel like they have a personal friendship with you and Rob after countless hours of listening to your stories. On to my point. I've been listening for years, ever since you started. About 20 months ago, I was up in Mammoth Lakes, California, and I collapsed, seemingly out of the blue. 2 surgeries and plenty of other treatments. I'm a very different person now. I'm finding ways to experience joy, and David and Rob, you've helped me do that by inspiring me to do something I would never have done before. Now, that email from a listener called Nick was a really, really good email. I was intrigued, and parasocial or not, I wanted to find out more. Because I feel like America kind of gave birth to the whole parasocial thing in a way, with its reality TV and social media platforms and a variety of other things. So, get ready to listen to your favorite podcast, email the hosts, and see if they email back, because this is the Parasocial Listener episode.
Think your lashes have hit their limit? Discover limitless length and full volume with Maybelline Sky High Mascara. The Flex Tower brush bends to volumize and extend every single lash from root to tip. And the lightweight bamboo-infused formula makes lashes feel weightless. Now in 8 bold shades so you can take your lashes to new heights every day. Visit Maybelline.com to shop Sky High Mascara now.
Flightless, flightless, flightless bird touchdown in America. I'm a flightless bird touchdown in America.
Rob, you've been doing this podcasting thing for way longer than me, and I feel like the parasocial thing you're probably very familiar with. I mean, I've been out to you. I know you as Rob. I go out with you and people are like, Robbie Rob. And oh God, you know? So like you've been having this for a very long time as well.
Yeah, mine's though, it's not, I'm much more behind the scenes. So it's not a...
Yeah. You sneak in from the edges.
I prefer. But I mean, it is always nice when someone...
Yeah.
Like... The thing is, if they know who I am from a podcast, that means they're really into the podcast.
It's a positive thing.
If they've gotten deep enough to know that I exist in this.
Yeah, it means they're a fan of what you're involved in, basically.
Yes. Which that's the cool thing about parasocial relationships is you're not a character, you're yourself.
Completely. It's funny because I have it. And I think we've spoken about this before, but podcasts I think are really special in that I have parasocial relationships with podcasts I listen to. Like there's this podcast about movies called The Filmcast, and I've been listening to it for probably 15 years, maybe close to 20. And I feel like I know those hosts.
Yeah.
Like I know who about their families, I know about their lives, I know what they're into. I've been lucky enough to become friends with Dave, who's on that show. He was in our Forrest Gump episode about Bubba Gump Shrimp. And yeah, so I get it. And it's that whole thing of just, I think podcasts like radio as well before it, they're in your ears when you're just doing really personal, boring things like you're having a shower or you're vacuuming or you're in the car and you've got these fucking people talking. And it just does something different to watching a TV show or a movie or a musician or anything else like that, which are also parasocial, but podcasts just feel so much more, I think, genuine.
Well, it's because they're themselves. When you're watching someone on a TV show, they're playing a character. You don't know that's...
What? That's not real?
You don't...
What
that's
the hell?
not what they're normally like in most cases. And
Completely.
Like, the tics of that person and their interests. But when you're listening to a podcast, like... And spending as much time as you do, because podcast minimum hour, most podcasts, some like a lot of times longer. Like there has to be an authenticity and something genuine for you to even pump out that much content.
And you can tell very quickly when a show is being made that doesn't have a genuine thing in there. Like you can feel when the heart's not in it pretty much straight away. You're like, oh God, these two people have been like thrown together and they're having to talk about this thing, and you can tell it's like,
you can tell there's some fakeness between
completely
that. So
you
that,
pick that up pretty quickly.
But that's the really great thing about fans of the show is they know you, and they know, they know genuine things about you.
Yeah.
So it feels more meaningful.
No, I know what you mean, and it's like what Rosabel said as well when she studied this stuff, and it has that really neat thing where it alleviates like loneliness for a lot of people as well. And like I have that, like you talked last week about how you go to sleep to TV and stuff.
Yeah.
I go to sleep to a lot of podcasts, and it is that thing of like, it's like I live alone, and so it's like it's company. And that sounds kind of sad, but it's also true, and I really like that I have that.
Yeah.
You know?
You know what we should do? That gives me an idea. For Patreon, we should record just you talking to someone as they're falling asleep that we can loop into a good 6-hour thing of just ramblings from David, but you get to do it like kind of soft.
I've been told there has been some feedback that like my voice does send people off to sleep.
I got that feedback from a friend last week about the Black Shiny FBI Shoes episode.
Right.
That she fell asleep.
Well, no, I think you have a nice voice. It's just like regular and it's rhythmic, and I think it is relaxing. I mean, I'm often falling asleep around you when you're talking to me about sports and things like that.
Well, before we get too far into this, you got to open. You've got to open your holiday gift, your Christmas gift.
Oh my God,
because I think you need to use it for this episode.
Okay. I also see you've got some of your classic, beautiful Christmas cookies there.
I made some cookies,
which I've had for many years in a row now. Beautiful paper. Hail Satan.
Nope.
Santa Hail.
Nope. I mean, it's Hail Santa. It's
really good. Oh, with a pentagram.
Yep. Candy canes.
It's all coming together. It takes me a while to pick up on all these things. I've been taught not to tear paper from a young child because you can sometimes reuse it.
No, you're not going to reuse this.
I'm going to reuse this. Rob, you always give good presents. Okay, it's a t-shirt. Ha! For anyone not watching and listening, what does this say, Rob?
Yes, I'm already dead on the inside, but I can still pretend with a picture of a possum.
A beautiful rendering of an opossum.
It's a Motion City soundtrack. So on theme with emo this year.
I love the t-shirt.
I saw this t-shirt at their concert, and this is what I think you need to wear for this episode.
Mm-hmm. Costume change. This is a Christmas sweater. It's beautifully... It's a Christmas vest, in fact.
Yeah.
Very specific a vest.
Yeah, it came in sweater, but I was like...
It's like, what, are your arms overheating, but your body's cold?
It's LA. You don't need a sweater.
It has Jesus on here. And it says birthday boy. Rob. How the hell do you find this?
But you're a birthday boy, too.
I am. Christmas Day. It's really beautiful, Rob. Thank you so much. I'm going to put this on. Disaster. Glass has already fallen off. I've been having this problem where my arms have been getting really hot, but my body's been like very cold, and so now this problem is
it's perfect
solved.
Birthday boy.
It's a great size as well. And Rob, thank you for remembering. You always remember my birthday. I've often talked about the trauma of me growing up, friends, family giving me one present and saying this is bigger because it's Christmas and birthday, which is of course utter hog shit.
I mean, that's what I did.
Well, I got two things though. Look at this. I got a beautiful sweater, a beautiful t-shirt. I haven't wrapped it, but I got this for you. Okay. So I got this on my Flightless Bird travels. It was...
You do have wrapping paper that you saved.
No, I got this on my travels. I believe it was somewhere in the middle of America that I got this in a gas station. And I know you have been working on your house a little bit. And I know that you love putting things up on the wall. And I was thinking, you're an American and this could be sort of a feature thing on maybe in the lounge or maybe the bedroom. See what Natalie thinks. And I just thought that could really...
Yeah, two things every American should know how to use, neither of which are taught in schools.
Okay, it's got a Bible.
A gun and a Bible.
And a handgun. So yeah, that's inferior to your gifts, but I also think...
I think this also is pretty fitting. We just leave in
it
the
is good.
studio.
What, you're saying you don't want it in your house at all? You're saying you don't want to take it home? What the hell? Okay, so yeah, with a lot of emails over the last year. Thank you for all of them that you've sent in. They genuinely continue to sort of blow my mind. I feel like I learn so much from them.
I think we both feel very lucky that anyone considers to have a parasocial relationship with this show.
Oh, completely. It's the same way. It's that sort of disbelief that people care enough to write in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're also very lucky in that our listeners, they seem like really good people.
Yeah,
like we're not getting trash in our inbox.
Yeah, and they seem very intelligent, which is sometimes a little intimidating.
Well, yeah. It's like, holy shit, we got to like lift our game.
Yeah.
Got to stop talking garbage all the time.
Yeah, we can't talk about reality TV and housewives.
Yes, like we're going to let them down.
Watch
I don't know if you
reality
know.
TV?
I don't know if I mentioned this, but I've never really been into reality TV.
Well,
but
I forget I was going to bring out your dark tourist tagline, but I can't.
Oh yeah, no. Life's always dangerous when you're a dark tourist. Okay, so Nick wrote in. I was instantly intrigued by his email. He'd obviously been through some stuff. So I emailed him back, arranged a call, and we've had a few conversations. And there wasn't my intent originally, but I ended up wanting to put a whole episode together about this because I think it's just really special and kind of epitomizes sort of beyond what I'd ever imagine happening with a show like this. Just the way people, what the show, how it can fit into someone's life when they've got all this other shit going on, and this little thing we make can sort of slot in and maybe have like a tiny bit of positivity. And I also felt like I just learned a lot from Nick.
Well, I think we talk about this often. It's weird sometimes that we make this alone in this little room.
Yeah.
And then it just goes off onto the internet.
It goes out every Tuesday. Womp.
Yeah. And just I think there is something about making it in such a silo and in such a small little box with such a small team and like not like a TV show or anything else, like
huge number of people
around
involved.
It.
It's sort of shocking in a way how fewer checks and balances there are in the process. It's like we put this thing together and checks and balances can be a really good thing, but I think maybe that goes back to what makes a podcast different to other mediums where it's not endlessly kind of poured over. It's care goes into it from our little team, but it's not kind of chipped and refined by a million voices. So by the time it goes out, it's this kind of like generic thing.
Yeah.
It's it's flawed and it's not perfect and it's got ums and ahs. And I think that is part of it as well.
Yeah, and mistakes and things that we get yelled out about, and then things that we address or do episodes about as a result.
And so I hope you enjoy this episode. We'll be back afterwards as always to chat, but goes without saying, thanks for listening for the last year and even longer than the year. And I'm very much excited, assuming I get back into the country after my little trip to New Zealand. Really looking forward to making more of this show. So yeah, this is Nick. So as I told you at the start of this episode, Nick emailed us back in November. I read out a bit of his email, but he had included a few more details that made me know he was legit and that his story was worth telling.
If I choke up a little talking about it, thanks for your patience. Sometimes it's hard, but I'm pretty open, right?
The first thing I noticed about Nick is that his emotions were pretty close to the surface. Something I inherently admire because, like many New Zealanders, I've been taught to keep my emotions buried down very deep. Nick is 32 and is currently based in Santa Barbara, California, where he's zooming me from today. And if Nick thought he was being a parasocial podcast listener and emailing Flightless Bird, I was being the self-involved, narcissistic podcast host who's always making everything about himself. When did you start listening to this show?
Out of college, I joined a technology startup, and I'm an English major. So naturally, I worked in software. I just found a job and was like, cool. Ended up being a really good job. I was like an early employee there, which worked out well. We sold the company. I got a little bit of cash, which was like, I'm doing stuff, American dream, whatever. So I found a condo in Mammoth because I love it up there. And I was able to buy this like relatively cheap condo. It was kind of in shambles, needed a lot of work. And I was like, oh, you know, what'll be great is if I buy this place and do it myself and renovate it.
Wow.
And so I started doing that. And I worked remotely at the time. I was working in the software. I could be like this on Zoom all the time. And so I'd go up there, work remotely, start renovating. I did some like demo and I was learning on the fly, like just watching YouTube videos. I had some friends that had some experience helping me out. And so I was spending a lot of time just going up there, coming back and trying to make that house work.
Nick was doing lots of driving from his place in the San Fernando Valley to the condo he was doing up.
So I started driving up to Mammoth Lakes, you know, up in the Sierra Nevada, like a few hours northeast of LA. And those are long drives. So I started looking for podcasts. And I think I listened to the baseball episode, baseball or religion or one of those two early on. I was like, oh, this is entertaining. These are fun. So yeah, I think I've just over the last, 2.5, 3 years. Yeah.
In short, what drove Nick to Flightless Bird is what drives most people to find any podcast: boredom. But I'm glad those boring drives to his condo helped him find us. And it was while working on that condo that Nick's story, the story I was curious about, all began.
While I was up there, like I was on a trip by myself, just doing some work, working remote, and I just had a headache, like out of the blue. Like I was on a call like this, talking to the CEO of my company, actually. He's like, Nick, are you ready to present to me the plan for the quarter or whatever it was? And I was like, yeah. Oh, 1 sec. And I literally collapsed. Like I fell to the floor.
Was it like a sick stomach, a cracking headache? What hit you? What did it feel like?
I mean, we were speaking just like this, feeling totally normal. And all of a sudden my right eye went bloodshot. And it felt like somebody had just hit me with a bat, like a baseball bat on the side of the head. Like out of nowhere, it went from 0 to 100. And I fell down. I actually vomited. And I didn't know what was going on.
He knew things were bad enough that he had to excuse himself from the Zoom call. I mean, what else are you meant to do after vomiting in front of your boss? Stay tuned for more Flightless Bird. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. Support for Flightless Bird comes from Aura Frames. Now, holiday time, gift time, going into a new year also. It's always a good time to get an Aura frame for someone. It's my favorite gift to get anybody. I'm going to be in New Zealand very soon with my parents, and I will be doing a wellness check on their Aura frame, which they have had sitting on the shelf now for about 2 years.
Yeah, it's great, especially when you don't live near some of your family.
Oh, yeah.
Being able to get them this frame. And when you have kids, just be able to upload photos, or when you're David, just selfies.
Constant selfies through.
Selfies all over LA and all the cool places you're
Here's some shade. It also looks really beautiful. It just looks like a normal little photo frame, but it also happens to be digital.
The other cool thing about Aura frames is you can preload photos before it ships, so they can open it up. Everything's preloaded and photos are there.
Also, gift box included with no price on it, so it is actually the perfect gift. And for a limited time, you can save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver matte frames, named #1 by Wirecutter by using promo code BIRD at checkout.
That's auraframes.com, promo code BIRD. This deal is exclusive to listeners, and frames sell out fast. So order yours now to get in time for the holidays. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply.
Support for Flightless Bird comes from Bombas. Now, this time of the year, it's sensory load pretty much everywhere, but one feeling that we're still chasing? Cozy. Simple, just cozy. And Bombas has the socks, slippers, tees, and basically everything to get you there. Cozy.
Honestly, there's something weirdly therapeutic about fresh socks, and the sock scientists at Bombas have found a way to channel that energy into everything from slippers with sinking cushioning to satisfyingly weighty tees. And the great thing about Bombas is that feeling doesn't stop after one wear. It keeps going.
Yeah, and they're into footwear now as well. They're really stepping up their slipper and slide game this season. They've got new shapes, new styles, fluffy things, suede things, a little something for every foot, whether your feet are disgusting and awful or beautiful like mine. And if there's one thing that Bombas knows, it's feet.
And it's a great gift. So what do you get your brother's new marathon training girlfriend? Bombas running socks?
Oh, of course.
Well, what about your mom's new friend?
You watch it. Look, our point is Bombas has really good gifts that you can get for someone that you don't know how to shop for, or maybe you do know how to shop for them, but get them some socks is our point, or maybe some slides or some slippers, up to you.
Head over to bombas.com/bird and use code BIRD for 20% off your first purchase.
That's BOMBAS.com/bird. Use code BIRD at checkout.
When the holidays start to feel a bit repetitive, reach for a Sprite Winter Spiced Cranberry and put your twist on tradition. A bold cranberry and winter spice flavor fusion, Sprite Winter Spiced Cranberry is a refreshing way to shake things up this sipping season. And only for a limited time. Sprite, obey your thirst.
I didn't know what was going on. I thought it was altitude sickness. I called a friend that lives up there. I was like, hey, like, can you come by? Do you have any Excedrin or Tylenol? Like, I'm starting to eat that and just tried to sleep for about 2 days and ended up driving myself thinking that, the hospitals in Mammoth are great at trauma, broken bones on the mountain, that kind of thing. Wasn't sure about brains. So I came back to Santa Barbara and I went to the urgent care, drove myself to the urgent care, which, touching on healthcare here, I had insurance, but I have a very high deductible. And I was like, if I go to the emergency room, I'm going to spend $3,000-$4,000. And I don't want to do that, which in hindsight is it's not, so it's almost upsetting. It's like I was too scared to get the right care because I didn't want to pay for it.
The urgent care essentially told him, hey, it's a Saturday. We don't really do scans on weekends. So they gave him an IV bag with some fluids and told him to come back on Monday if his head still hurt. By this point, he wasn't feeling like driving at all, so he got his girlfriend to pick him up.
Monday morning, the headache never really ceased. It kept going. I woke up getting ready to go to work, and my girlfriend, Rebecca, she was saying, your head still hurts. I was like, yeah, it's pretty bad, but it'll go away. She goes, no. You're going into the urgent care. I said, fine. I went to the urgent care, and they said, oh, you're in luck. We can do a CT scan. It's Monday. You just have to wait a little bit. I said, sure. But we did it that day. We did a CT scan. And this young doctor, he's working at the urgent care. He's kind of like not expecting this. He walks back into the room and his face was like the scaredest I've ever seen. I said, that can't be good. He said, there's two things. Either you're having a stroke right now, or you have a brain tumor. That's how I got that news.
He didn't really know what to think. Nick wasn't sure what he was expecting, but it wasn't that.
And he said, I've called an ambulance for you because you need to go to the emergency room right now. And I said, no, I'm not paying for an ambulance. That was my first reaction. So Rebecca ended up driving us. He said, you're going straight to the emergency room right now. We drove 5 minutes to the emergency room and they were waiting for me. And they said, Nick, come in. They put me in a wheelchair. They rolled me in, checked me in, and I was laying in a bed with an IV when this woman walks in and she goes, hi, Nick. I'm your surgeon. That's how I found out that about 24 hours later, I would have a craniotomy.
The surgeon informed Nick that he had some kind of brain tumor, and so they'd have to open up his skull to take it out. So that surgeon that walked into the room and said, I'm going to be operating on you, what was she saying and kind of what were you thinking? Because I feel like I've had very minor, I once had stitches in my palm and I thought I was going to die. I was like, this is the end. And I'm just wondering what it was like for you hearing this stuff.
I didn't think it was real. I was like, what's going on? I felt like a dream, a surreal, like an acid trip or something. It's like, what is going on? What did they give me?
On March 7th, he had the headache and vomiting session on the work Zoom call. And by March 12th, he had the surgery. It went well. They got the tumor.
The first surgery, they had 100% resection, which was best case scenario. It was gone. It didn't appear on MRIs.
So how did it feel? Because essentially, the tumor's gone and after the first surgery. So is some of your brain. How did that feel? Like, did you feel different in who you were, or did you just feel in pain? Like, can you talk me through that a little bit?
Yeah. So waking up and sort of the weeks following that surgery, were the most confusing, shocking times of my entire life. Like, I still don't quite feel like the same person that I was. There were a lot of strange side effects. It was kind of like feeling in this in between of sleep and wakefulness and like dream state. I didn't recognize faces. I think actually you have that. Yeah, I remember face blindness.
Yeah, but I have all my brain. I've got no excuse.
That's part of the connection here. I was like, oh, I can relate to that now. It was like listening to you and talking about that. I was like, I was doing this thing is kind of funny. And I'm kind of, I like talking to people. I'm not shy to say something to a stranger, but I was in the grocery store and I was seeing people in aisles. I was like, hey, oh, yeah, it's me, remember? And they're like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, I was like recognizing people. It was kind of the opposite. It was where I thought I knew everyone. I was like, oh, it's you. And they're like, yeah, man, no.
Incredible, anti-face blind. It's like you recognize everyone, but you don't know any of them.
It was funny. Well, at first.
He couldn't drive a car for about 15 months because he was having seizures. He wouldn't lose consciousness, but he'd lose motor control on the left side of his body, which was understandably pretty scary. And he'd been told that loud noises could trigger those seizures, which was a blow because he surfed a lot. Waves are loud, seizures are bad underwater. And he played in a few bands, also loud. And Nick was aware that as well as the tumor being removed, other parts of him had been removed as well. Personality-wise, and the way you kind of perceive the world, how did that feel?
It was in my temporal lobe, which is why it felt like that dream state, which processes kind of where you are and when you are, which is really interesting. And my memory, short-term memory, was just gone. I would forget why I was in a place or when I got there. And I was relying on everyone around me. Jumping right into chemotherapy and radiation also just took a physical toll on me. So I was spending a lot of time sleeping, a lot of time just laying around. I couldn't really watch TV or listen to music because it was jarring. I would have seizures. I couldn't play music for almost a year.
Yeah, the Flightless Bird theme song would probably fucking send you into a seizure instantly. You'd have to skip that.
Touchdown in America. Yeah. Imagine me turning it on because I like the podcast. I hear it. Oh, seizure. Okay.
In all of this, he was grateful.
I'm still alive. And that's pretty amazing.
Yeah. But he was about to get some less than great news. As to what kind of tumor he had, well, it took a while for experts to figure out what it was. They knew it was some kind of glioblastoma, a type of aggressive, fast-growing brain tumor. But this one was a very specific type of glioblastoma.
It took almost 3 months to get a diagnosis of the specific tumor type because it's so rare and tricky and whatever. And, I have brain tissue samples at like 3 different places around the country. Kind of cool.
One sample ended up in Maryland at the National Institute of Health. And they figured it out.
Yeah, I'll say it. It's called an anaplastic pleomorphic xanthoastrocytoma.
That's APXA for the rest of us.
It's 15 syllables. But yeah, I did a lot of like Googling and research, and they're like, there's less than one case per year.
He's right. The National Library of Medicine says APXAs are rare gliomas, affecting just 1% of astrocytic tumors. The other thing about this type of tumor, it's rare and it's aggressive. And he realized his journey wasn't over.
They told me this tumor type, we see less than 1 per year. Like, it's going to come back. That's what it does. And it's terminal. So they didn't say it quite like that, but that's the idea. This is going to keep coming back. So we hammered it with chemotherapy and radiation. And sure enough, 12 months later, it came back and started growing at a rapid rate, and we needed to do a second surgery. Or they gave me the choice this time, at least. They didn't just put me in a room and say, you're having surgery tomorrow. They said, we need to do a second surgery, or, it's kind of your choice. But I said, yeah, I want to keep living. So I was able to schedule it about 3 weeks out. And in those 3 weeks, I was like, planned a surf trip, took all my best friends. We went and had all my favorite food, and I saw my family. Yeah, I was like, let's do everything.
After those 3 weeks were over, it was time for the inevitable, for the surgeons to get back into his skull.
Yeah, I had the second surgery in May.
Your thinking at that point was like, there's a potential I might not come out of the second surgery.
Come out with my faculties. Like, they removed my right amygdala, which is interesting. And the second time, they removed part of my hippocampus. And I've learned a lot about brains since then.
I bet you fucking have.
Yeah.
Well, you don't really think about them unless you have to think about them. They're doing the thinking, but you're never thinking about your own brain.
Is the brain aware of itself, right? That's such a question.
The second surgery was a success, but still he knew what would happen. The tumor, at some point, it would come back.
I think I'm a fairly optimistic person. I have been, I don't know. I was always just happy, I guess. I'm very fortunate. I feel like I get to do things I love to do. I get to play music. I live in, a place where I can be in the ocean a lot, and I have a good community out here, which, by the way, saved my life, that community. But I think I started to hear a lot of people with like sympathy or pity, and it felt strange. They're like, oh, this is so not fair. Oh, why you? Right? Like, and that never sat with me. It was kind of like, well, what do you mean? Why me? Why not? Why not me? Why anybody? Right? Like, I had a really intentional like feeling of, okay, don't feel sorry for yourself. This could happen to anybody. It happened to me. So make the most of it. Like, it's an opportunity, right? It's a chance to think differently. And so I think the biggest impact for me was I had to stop working. Like, I just mentally and physically couldn't do it, which was a challenge financially and a lot of things. But I saw that as a chance to kind of spend time with people, spend time with my family, like just look at life in a way that's like, if this were going to end tomorrow, what would I hope that I could be doing? And that's sat with me every day since then.
I mean, you're in this kind of unique situation where essentially, and let me make sure I've got this straight, you kind of know this could or will come back at some point. What is your clarity on that? Because obviously this is very rare as well, right?
Everyone that has this dies from it, essentially. That's kind of the headline. So knowing that, I was like, oh, it's gone right now and I feel good. I have to make the most of this time because it's coming back. And I would have a scan every month to check. That was sort of the protocol. And still. So it's like, okay, if that's my reality, I can accept it or not.
He chose to accept it, but says that acceptance couldn't be achieved on his own. He credits the people he had in his life, really good people.
The good thing is, I think I didn't have a chance to really dwell and go down the black hole of like fear for, I think, two reasons. One is I have just this absolutely fantastic community of people in Santa Barbara. I think they rallied around me. Like, they lifted me. Sorry.
He starts crying, and he does this a lot during our call. But sometimes I found it hard to tell because his laughter sounds so similar to his crying, which kind of makes sense. They're both just such honest, clear emotions. But this time he's crying.
Like when they were wheeling me out of the hospital, I had like 10 people, like my friends came and they were already setting up like meal trains, and like, which is, every day someone was coming to my house and sitting with me or feeding and I couldn't drive and I had to go to radiation every day for a month. And so I had a different friend sign up to take me every morning. So I'd have all this wonderful time with people. And it was like, wow, this is kind of like the best thing ever. That's kind of what it felt like in some ways. So I never had a chance to really dwell on it. The other thing too is my emotions are very hard to control, having lost some of those brains. It's just another side effect. It's emotional regulation. So just even the slightest thing can just send me, which is kind of a gift. It's like, I just break down crying like every other day. And the second reason is they took out my amygdala, which processes fear. I don't know how accurate that is. I'm not a brain scientist, but there's something about fear in the amygdala and it's gone, which is very trippy.
I found all of this so fascinating, and it's why I wanted to talk to Parasocial Flightless Bird listener Nick, probably much more than he wanted to talk to me. He was a guy who just keeps getting parts of his brain removed and observes aspects of his personality changing in real time. And in all of this, while he has his down and chaotic moments like all of us, he keeps so upbeat. He makes me feel sort of pathetic for the things I like to complain about on a daily basis. And I keep coming back to the importance of community, something that seems to be so hard to grasp for many of us in the world at the moment, which led me to this very long question. You've talked a few times about this community of people you had around you, and I feel like we hear more and more often, not just, it is, I think, pronounced in America in a lot of ways about how isolated people are and people have a lot of context, but they're all kind of made up people on Instagram, Yeah. I'm wondering what you credit that community down to, whether it was a hobby, your personality, how you live your life, because I think a lot of people don't understand how to get a community around them like that.
It's funny because surfing is kind of a really selfish sport. It's like, all right, my wave, you don't want to share, but you start to meet people. There's kind of the locals and the people that go to the same spots. And I have a lot of friends that surf and we surf together. And in Santa Barbara, it's one of the greatest places to surf. We don't have the best waves year round, but when we do, it's fun. And there's a group out here that just rallied behind me. And I realized they do this every year. It's called, not to be too promotion-y about it, but it's called the Friendship Paddle. And it's a group of surfers, fishermen, people that just love the water. And every year they rally behind someone with a terminal or life-threatening illness. And they create this, first of all, it's a fundraiser. But secondly, they do this thing where they say, we're going to do something hard because they're going through something hard. And we want to show them that sense of empathy. And they paddle on their boards across the channel from Santa Barbara to the Channel Islands, which are about 20 to 30 miles away. And this group of 100 or so people paddle on there, just using their arms. They paddle 30 miles across the channel just in honor of this person. They do it every year. And I've had friends that have been honored by that group, or I've gone and supported that group. And they picked me this year. And it was not expected, but just the way that group rallies around someone and says, hey, this is a local community. We have someone in need. We're going to get behind them. And just the simple act of bringing us out into the water and paddling for us, it was like the greatest thing that ever happened to me. And they kind of do it as a surprise. Like my friend called me and said, hey, you want to go to lunch at this? I was like, yeah. And we show up at this restaurant, or it was like an outdoor scene, and there's 10 people, and I'm like, whoa, what's everyone doing here? What are the odds? They're like, guess what? We're going to do this for you. And I've never, just tears. Yeah.
The paddle he went on was 31 miles. It took about 8 hours to finish. People went out the day before in boats to set up. And on the day, they had boats following them the whole way for safety and in case anyone needed a break. And in all of this, the elephant in the room, that fucking 15-syllable thing he says so easily, but for dummies like me is simply APXA. You're in this really unique situation where you've beaten this thing before, but you also know it's going to, at some point, it will come back. So I'm just wondering, in a practical level, how that does change how you live your life. And if every day you've still got that thing of no, fuck it, I'm going to do that thing. Or whether you get back into this, how most of us live, which is kind of in a bit of a coma. You don't, no one thinks they're going to die, right? We all kind of secretly think we're invincible, and you live each day. I just wasted 8 hours watching this fucking terrible Netflix show that I'll never get back, and I wish I could snap myself out of this kind of zombie state sometimes that I think a lot of us live in. Very long-winded question.
Oh.
What's my point? I'm just wondering how your particular unique situation has kind of changed the way you think about how you relate to other people in the world.
Yeah. I think first is giving yourself grace and like having patience and knowing that it's okay to have days like that. Like it's not a waste of time. Sometimes it's just what you need. I think I was really scared to fall asleep the first month. I was like, sleeping is wasting time. Sleeping is wasting time. I can't, but it's really important to sleep to heal, right? So I think I had to learn, okay, this is going to take time. I don't have to do everything with this sense of urgency right now. I can find, like, if I'm present in the moment, I can get that sense of sort of, what's the word? The sense of like gratification or like happiness, joy, like peace. And I realized my greatest resource was my attention. Like, that's the thing I think I noticed was everyone's on their phone all the time, right? You're crossing the street, you're looking at Instagram, whatever. If I could put that away and just give my attention to the moment, whatever I'm doing, then every moment, doesn't matter what you're doing, even if you're watching a show or just chatting with a friend, it's like there's some beauty in that moment. And I learned to be kind of patient with myself and patient with other people and kind of understanding like we all have our own unique struggles, battles, whatever it is, and I learned to just accept that and try not to be hard on myself or hard on other people. Kind of one of the funniest things that I've noticed is the mundane things, right? Like going to the store, going to the pharmacy. I started going to the pharmacy a lot because I have to take a lot of medication, something I'm again, from 0 to 100, right? And I started talking to the pharmacists and they recognized me and I was like, oh, this is the best part of my day when I get to talk to these people. It's like, oh, cool. They're asking me how I'm doing. I'm talking to people online. I'm just becoming this like sort of like comic figure. I felt like, oh, am I ridiculous? Am I embarrassing? But it was fun. Like I was just finding joy in the mundane, right? Just like little things like that, especially when you lose freedoms. Like I couldn't drive, but I was able to walk to the pharmacy and take my dog or whatever. And it was just enough freedom. I was like, this is the best. Like you remember to have appreciation for those moments. Like stop trying to speed through it to get to the next thing and just appreciate the now.
And there's something really important here because this whole time I've been talking to him, I've assumed the thing is gone for now, that he's being so upbeat to me because after 2 surgeries, it hadn't come back yet.
So the tumor's back. It recurred. Like, okay. It's on a scan, November, like August or September, we saw it was back and growing.
Fuck, so, I'm sorry, I didn't know that.
It's okay. That's just something I, again, expected and it sucks, but that's reality.
And that brings us to why he wrote into Flightless Bird, why he was being a parasocial listener wanting to talk. Sure, he wanted to tell us that he liked the show, but he wanted to give us some context on how he came to the decision of what he wanted to do next, about what he wanted to do with the money that had been raised from the friendship paddle. He'd been thinking very carefully about how to use his time.
What are the things in life that I've never done? Something exciting, some adventure. And I was blessed with that gift of some money from that fundraiser. And they're like, the whole point of this is to give you the means to do stuff. Go live your life, have fun. I was like, so everybody every week, they're like, Nick, what'd you do? What'd you book? You going anywhere? What are you doing? I was like, okay, I got to do something. So I was like, where can I surf where I can get around on my own, speak the language, feel relatively comfortable? I was like, well, there's Australia, but we don't want to go to Australia.
No one wants to go to Australia.
And I've been down to like Baja and Mexico and, being by myself and feeling comfortable. It's like, oh, where can I go that's as far as possible from here? New Zealand.
New Zealand. He's going to New Zealand.
And so I booked a flight. I was like, screw it. I'm going to do it. So now I have a camper van for 2 weeks in New Zealand in February. So
fuck, that's cool.
We're doing it. I honestly have no idea why I picked New Zealand. It kind of was like, it was a subconscious thing listening to you.
Nick says he's nervous about a few things, mainly about remembering to drive on the other side of the road. He's been cleared to drive, by the way, so don't worry. He tells me he just wants to be on his own for a bit. Before he logged off Zoom, he wanted some advice on what to do in New Zealand, and we agreed to keep in touch while this whole thing plays out. So I'll keep in touch with him and keep you posted too. People talk a lot of shit about parasocial relationships, and in some cases, fair enough. The balance can be uneven and weird. But after talking to Nick and getting to know him a little, I just feel really grateful for all this. Parasocial relationships via podcast can be fucking great. And if I can live my life with a shred of the integrity and perspective that Nick has, well, I think I'll be pretty happy with that. Stay tuned for more Flightless Bird. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. Support for Flightless Bird comes from Quince. Now, cold mornings, holiday plans, this is when I need my wardrobe to just work. That's why I'm all about Quince. They make it easy to look sharp, feel good, and have gifts that last. From Mongolian cashmere sweaters to Italian wool coats, Quince pieces are crafted from premium materials and built to hold up without the luxury markup.
And their outwear lineup is no joke. Down jackets, wool top coats, and leather styles that are built to last. Each piece is made from premium materials by trusted factories that meet rigorous standards, which we like, for craftsmanship and ethical production.
And by cutting out the cost of the middleman and traditional markups, Quince delivers the same quality as luxury brands at a fraction of the price. It's everything you actually want to wear, built to hold up season after season. I have a puffer jacket that I am wearing in Los Angeles at the moment because it is freezing. It always freaks me out when the temperature drops here like this, but I always have my puffer ready to go. Thank you, Quince.
Yeah, I got a new winter jacket for my holiday travels. I put it on the other day to go to a hockey game, and Calvin was like, I really like your jacket.
Oh, that's cute.
It was very nice.
Get your wardrobe sorted and your gift list handled with Quince. Don't wait. Go to quince.com/bird for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns.
Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/bird. Free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/bird.
Support for Flightless Bird comes from Wild Alaskan. Now, I'm not great when it comes to shopping for seafood. I don't really know where to start. I don't know about nutrition. I don't know about sustainability. I don't really understand where I get good taste from. And that is where Wild Alaskan comes in, because it solves all that for you. Wild Alaskan Company is the best way to get wild-caught, perfectly portioned, nutrient-dense seafood delivered directly to your front door. Trust me, you'd never tasted fish this good.
I never liked fish growing up, and my mom never made fish for us as kids. But since getting into finer dining as an adult, I really appreciate fish now, but I know nothing about buying fish.
Yeah, you need some help.
So that's the great thing about Wild Alaskan is you can trust that they're going to send you 100% wild caught, never farmed, no antibiotics, GMOs, or additives, just clean, real fish that support healthy oceans and fishing communities.
Also, they're nutrient fish and full of flavor. Wild Alaskan fish is frozen off the boat to lock in taste, texture, and nutrients like omega-3s. And it's also sustainably sourced, wild caught from Alaska. Every order supports sustainable harvesting practices, and your membership delivers flexible shipments, expert tips, and truly feel good seafood. Try it risk-free, 100% money-back guarantee. If you're not completely satisfied with your first box that arrives at your front door, the Wild Alaskan Company will give you a full refund, no questions asked, no risk, just high-quality seafood.
Not all fish are the same. Get seafood you can trust. Go to wildalaskan.com/bird for $35 off your first box of premium wild-caught seafood.
That's wildalaskan.com/bird for $35 off your first order. Thanks to Wild Alaskan Company for sponsoring this episode.
The Who's Down and Who Newville were making their list, but some didn't know Walmart has the best brands for their gifts.
What about toys? Do they have brands kids have been wanting all year?
Yep, Barbie, Tony's, and Lego. Gifts that will make them all cheer.
Do you mean they have all the brands I adore?
They have Nintendo, Nespresso, Apple, and more.
What about...
So the Who answered questions from friends till they were blue. Each one listened and shouted, from Walmart? Who knew? Shop gifts from top brands for everyone on your list in the Walmart app.
So yeah, that was Nick, and I just feel insanely grateful that he reached out in the first place and then agreed to talk more, and it's, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was a very moving story.
In a really short amount of time.
Yeah, it's crazy. I asked you before we started re-recording, I didn't know if the timeline seemed way too scrunched.
Completely.
In my mind.
Yeah, I believe it was March of last year that the first, like when he had that horrible Zoom call.
So it was that quickly, that
super
many
aggressive
times.
Yeah.
Is terrifying.
And it's just that idea of, yeah, I mean, I am just impressed by people that have that kind of perspective in something like that. Especially when, I mean, you know me, like we were talking about this earlier, like I spiral out so easily if I perceive anything being like wrong or not going right. Like I'm talking like tiny, dumb work shit. And so to see how he handles this with such grace just blew my mind. Like I couldn't fucking believe it.
Well, it's really it's really interesting. So the part of his brain was removed that controls fear. He said,
he mentioned that's part of it.
And like just removing then the fear of death. Like
I wonder
how
about
much that it's almost like I don't want to say a gift, but
no, but it wraps in, and it's like his brain changing in that way is
I think
an advantage in the situation. That you're in.
It's allowing him to live this time the way he has, where like the fear that I would have knowing that like something like
there's
this
more of a
is
timeline
happening
on things.
I feel like would just ruin the remaining time.
Yeah, whereas he's in an opposite state where he is valuing every single bit of that time, including talking to a pharmacist, which is something usually that the last time I went to a pharmacist, I was sort of grumpy in line and wanted it to be quick and didn't care. And that whole energy from me would have like spun out into the day, whereas he's just grateful to be there. It's also that thing where like he mentioned this in an interview as well, that your brain has so much neuroplasticity, where I can never say that word, but you know, he's missing, you know, that's the other thing, like he's physically having bits of his brain being removed, and yet the brain bounces back, it rewires and it copes, and I don't know, I almost sort of see him, he has this superpower where his emotions are close to the surface, he can emote, he can like have all those genuine conversations with people, and it's like just even the conversation we had, I felt so connected to him because I think he was giving me so much.
Yeah.
Like most people when they're talking about personal shit have this fucking, I certainly do, wall up that you're talking through, and his was just no wall whatsoever. It's like raw emotion conversation.
I think that's also the like social fears that you have of like, I need to filter what I'm saying because...
Yeah, so you don't feel awkward, so I don't feel awkward.
Yeah.
And none of that exists with him, which is kind of beautiful.
I mean, it's really admirable. Like how he's living is how everyone should strive to live, is kind of what I took from that. Like if everyone could approach every day like that.
Completely. And then, you know, I didn't know the tumor had come back after his second surgery. So when I sort of opened up that call with him, I was sort of the back of my mind was thinking, oh, you're being positive like this because this thing is gone at the moment. But no, he's having the entire conversation with me, knowing that this thing is growing again. You know.
Do you know when his third surgery is supposed to be?
So that is an update. He is not at this stage not going to do another surgery, but he is doing a clinical trial at UCLA where he basically goes in there, has a shit ton of, he picks up his meds, their pills, he takes those every week. He has a diary where he records how he feels physically, emotionally, all of it. And so those meds are obviously to treat a tumor. So there is a world where that treatment helps him and hits things back. It's a clinical trial. So I think he has no idea about how likely it is that how much more time we'll give him. Fuck, there's a world where it kills the tumor, you know, but I just think that is like, that's not a given in any way. But yeah, at the moment, another surgery, it's that thing where, oh, it'll just come back again. And also every surgery, you're physically losing a bit of your brain, which is like, I can't even get my head around that.
Yeah, more and more pieces of your brain going.
Completely. But yeah, it also, and I liked what he talked about, how just having, mainly for him, like the surfing community coming around him, just having people, and just I get so cynical this year. I felt, especially, I've got so cynical about just people in general and humans and what they're doing. I just feel sort of fucked off and down about it all. But he's surrounded by people that have helped him this entire time, and that's everywhere. And it's just sometimes you forget that, I think, a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, hearing that community come around him was beautiful, of like that time he would get to spend with people and the meals being made and taking him to treatment.
All of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was Nick. In the show notes, I'm going to put a link to a couple of his bands. I think at the end of this episode, we'll play out with one of them. He's got 2 bands, Uncle Uncle. By the way, he wasn't making me promote this. I'm just like, I want people to know about his bands because I really like them. Uncle Uncle is one of them, and Pookie is another one, which is instrumental, kind of what he calls sort of math rock, very like interesting time signatures, but also like very chill.
I love some math rock.
Do
you know the term math rock?
I do. I'm a huge fan of the Dillinger Escape Plan, who are like a very metal heavy math rock, where it's just like you can't like mosh to it. It's just everything is changing all the time.
There was this really great band in Chicago called Maps and Atlases that definitely
was
math rock.
Yeah, very in the metal scene, like a very nerdy vibe. His is more beautiful instrumental stuff. I'll play that out at the end of the episode. But yeah, Nick just blew my mind. All of it. All of that story did. And I just felt it was a good episode to kind of end this year on for us.
Yeah. I mean, it's aspirational of like to try to be more like Nick.
Pretty much.
And just have gratitude that you don't.
Yeah, gratitude is exactly it.
Yeah.
It's like, especially I feel like this holiday time, we're coming up to this time of people are in really beautiful situations and some really horrendous situations. But if you can just take something from what's happening around you, that is positive.
Find positivity in no matter what situation.
Yeah, because if he can fucking do it, like I feel like we all can. Yeah, God, Nick's a legend. Should we do a bit of feedback?
Yeah, let's do a little bit of feedback
before we go on a little 2-week excursion.
Yeah, so you're going back to New Zealand after this?
I'm going to New Zealand. Yeah, I'm going to try and enter the United States again, sort of mid-Jan. I think I sent you that headline the other day. Foreigners allowed to travel to the US without a visa could soon face new social media screening.
Yeah.
So this doesn't apply to me because I have a visa, but they've just made it clear they've filed papers, so it makes it that if you are entering through the ESTA, the visa waiver program, I think they want to look through 5 years of your social media history to make sure you're not saying anything anti-American or anti-Trump.
Yeah, which is just AI doing that, I would imagine.
I think they've
like
put wonderful AI in charge of that, and then I guess they pull you aside in line if you've said anything against the wonderful ruler of this country. So yeah, I feel a bit. By the way, I'm not going to complain about anything in the rest of this episode ever. But no, it's slightly apprehensive about the process of leaving the States and coming back again. We'll find out next year how that goes.
Yeah, just wear your birthday boy vest.
How could they send this back, right? Okay, Kelly, feedback. Love the pod. As a fan of The Truman Show, I thought you'd like to know that the town used as the set in that movie actually exists and still looks very much like it did in the movie. The town is Seaside, Florida, and it's a beautiful beach town to visit. Rob, I would love to go with you to that town at some point.
Yeah, let's go.
We could do a Truman Show retrospective, one of the best movies ever made. There was a lot of feedback about reality TV. Connected with a lot of people. So there was just so much.
Yeah.
I can't read them all. There were like hundreds of people wrote in. But I like the level of detail that Nicole wrote in with. Couldn't help but write in about Mike White's season of Survivor, as mentioned in your reality TV.
Yes, I know what this is about a little bit.
There's like a slight fact check, but then a really cool story.
Yes. I can explain.
Can you explain what went on?
Mike White did make it very far.
Yes.
In Survivor. I didn't confuse them as people, but John Levitt from Pod Save America, who I like a lot.
Giant pod.
Did a season not too long after Mike White. He got voted out right away. So I confused their gameplay.
So what did you say? You thought that
Mike White got... I mixed up their game.
How dare you?
I know. Mike got pretty far.
As someone that doesn't watch a lot of reality TV, I didn't know any of this, so it's all news to me.
But you know who Mike White and John Levitt are?
I don't know I don't know Levitt. I know the podcast. I don't listen to it, but I know it's amazing.
John Levitt, I believe, is Ronan Farrow's partner.
We'll fact check that next year. No, that sounds. You'll be right. Don't doubt yourself. Okay, so Nicole wrote in saying there's some interesting lore about how his season ended, and I haven't fact checked this, but I trust Nicole. I feel a kinship with her. The winner of his season, David versus Goliath, was a guy named Nick Wilson. He was on the David tribe, a tribe full of underdogs, and she had very personal stories throughout the season about growing up poor in Kentucky and having a mother with drug addiction. She eventually passed away due to substance abuse. The rumors are that when Mike and Nick got to the final tribal...
Do you know what that means?
I do not watch reality TV, so I don't know. It's sort of the finale, the final tribal. They're gathered around a flame.
Okay, so Survivor,
I'm guessing.
Just give you a quick rundown on Survivor.
Okay.
You're
Make it
voting
short.
out someone every week, the tribe is.
The tribe speaks.
And someone can win immunity if they're good.
Okay.
Good player. But then, so after the merge, so you start on multiple tribes.
Yeah.
Sorry, this is getting confusing.
Crutches.
Multiple tribes, voting people off in individual tribes, but then there's a merge where they all come together in a big group. And then once the merge happens, people that got voted off after the merge then go into the jury.
Okay.
So the people you are voting off
Yeah.
are then picking who wins. From
And
the
this is all
final
very
tribal.
exciting. This is a very exciting
Well,
moment.
it just is like the social aspect of this game is dependent on you have to fuck over and vote this person off and send them home, but you can't do it in a way where they feel betrayed and hate you and won't vote for you at tribal. So there's a little bit of like, I want to get far, but I can't do it in a way that's going to piss everyone off because then they won't vote for me.
Okay. Could I win Survivor? Can someone win Survivor if they're like a nice guy, if they're not annoying anyone? They just like, they want to be friends with everyone. Can you win? If you've got enough physical strength and you're brave enough?
So it's outwit, outplay, outlast. So it's the three aspects of that game. If you're too much of a physical threat, people will target you.
So I would be targeted.
If you say so.
No, I would be targeted.
Or if you're too clever, you get targeted
being targeted twice.
But there is like a move where someone is just like flies very under the radar and like, oh, just bring me. I'm not a threat.
That would be me.
But then they don't ever win.
They don't win. Okay.
Because they're not playing a good enough game. Because when you're voting, you're supposed to be taking in those three things.
How do you get on? Do you apply? Is there an application?
You apply. You got to make a little video and send it in.
It's still going, Survivor?
It is. They're about to do 50.
Okay.
The one last Survivor tidbit.
Okay. Yeah.
The crazy thing about some of the more recent seasons of it is that the game's been on for so long and they'll bring on like super fans. And they've had a few people that will recreate puzzle challenges and like games so that they can practice at home.
Oh, I see.
So they're making like elaborate games where you have this puzzle that you've got to do this.
Oh, and so you're saying the mega fans will then come on the actual show and will do quite well?
Yes, because they've like, oh, I've practiced this puzzle.
Like that.
I use my 3D printer to make all the pieces and I know exactly how to do these. Yeah. But I think the game then, they've had to start changing
the game so that the fans don't take over.
Yes.
Any other trivia?
Yeah,
sorry. To get out?
You got me going again.
Okay, back to Nicole.
Yes, sorry, Nicole.
I enjoyed that, sort of. The rumors are that when Mike and Nick got to the final tribal, which I now know what it is, thanks to you, the final episode where the voted out contestants vote for the winner of the season, she summarized it in sort of 10 words, but you went a bit longer. Mike told them to vote for Nick. Supposedly, it was because Mike didn't need the multi-million-dollar prize and wanted Nick to have it. This obviously wasn't shown on the show, but Nick did indeed go on to win. Flash forward to 2022. Nick went on to become a public defender and ran a political campaign to join Kentucky's House of Reps. He won after running unopposed, and in 2023, he supported an anti-trans bill that eventually went into Kentucky law. Long story short, Mike should have won, and fuck Nick Wilson. Long-time listener, first-time writer, and Survivor super fan. That is a great
email.
Fact and anecdote. Thank you, Nicole. Dream email.
And agree
hard. Caleb, first of all, because I'm not sure it was ever actually brought up on the show, does David even watch reality TV?
Do you? Do you answer?
I don't.
Okay.
Just busy. On a more serious note, I thought I'll put my 2 cents in. Ari, a brief mention that was made by the showrunner about reality TV and true crime that starts dealing with how traumatic issues happen and the lack of psychological support for those involved in making the show. I was a social worker for 18 years, and a fundamental aspect of the profession is what we call supervision. Ideally, it's done monthly and with someone external to your organization who is a trained supervisor. The goal is to reflect on your practice, work through ethical issues, and process things you're exposed to in your work. It's really helpful. Surprisingly, I don't believe any other profession besides what I do is similarly exposed to such issues. They don't emphasize supervision like in social work. Personally, I think it should be a fundamental part of professions such as police and emergency services, for example, but others who, as part of their professional work, are regularly exposed to trauma and situations that take significant emotional, psychological toll. And yeah, I thought it was a good point. Like it's very rare to have any kind of professional psychological oversight. I was surprised. I have a friend in New Zealand who's a paramedic, and this was maybe 10 years ago now, but there was like very little, he was seeing horrific stuff all the time.
Traumatizing things.
Yeah. And like, I'm sort of talking to him about like what I'm talking to my therapist about. And he's like, oh, this happened to me. No therapy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, it seems like some professions, including people that have been traumatized on reality shows for massive profit for the networks, should probably get a therapist.
Probably, yes.
Yeah. Emily wrote in from New Zealand about our First Amendment auditors episode. While I was working at a regional council in New Zealand, we were audited by a YouTuber. I won't give his name because screw this guy. He wandered around the building filming and being annoying, tried to access out of bounds areas, and then uploaded efforts onto the internet. I'm not really sure what his aim was, but probably the same sort of pointless bullshit that Betty was subjected to. Thought it might be interesting to know that the public servants have also been harassed in New Zealand by First Amendment auditors. So, like much of American culture, we get your Coca-Cola, we get your Burger King, we get Subway, and we get fucking First Amendment auditors too, you shitheads.
There was a comment, someone said a trick for dealing with First Amendment auditors, pull out your phone and play Taylor Swift loudly, because then YouTube will flag
copyright content.
Yeah. So, and we got a rap this year, and apparently the artist most Flightless Bird listeners listen to, Taylor Swift.
I support everyone's choices and what they listen to. James said, just finished the First Amendment auditors episode. My dad is very much a fan of these videos, and I can't think of anything I'd rather watch less when I'm visiting my parents' house. Also, you mentioning that people can most likely find certain documentaries at the library made me think of a service that I just found out existed. There's an app called Canopy that works in the same way as Netflix. You connect your Canopy account to your library card, and then you can access the movies and documentaries your library has completely free.
As a streamer?
It is an app on your phone. It's on the internet, and it's free with your library card. So you have a free library account, download Canopy or go to the Canopy website, Canopy with a K, Kanopy.
But Canopy has documentaries and movies that you can watch.
Anything the library has
free
in their file, all free, all there. And I think that's just one of the many services libraries have that I think a lot of people, including me, are not aware of. Go libraries. One more on First Amendment auditors. I know you're probably sick of receiving feedback on this topic, but I'm an attorney who represents small local government units. I feel compelled to respond to the email you read from a listener defending them in last week's episode. Recording those responsible for protecting our rights and enforcing our laws, like police officers and ICE agents, is vastly different from recording a school teacher, a public librarian, or a township clerk. Police officers are expected to know constitutional rights and not infringe upon them. It's central to their job, and recording can be extremely important in holding law enforcement accountable.
Plus, they have weapons.
Plus, they have fucking guns.
Yes.
A librarian, knowing whether her name and salary are public information is not at all relevant to her job. Demanding that a librarian understand constitutional protections is like expecting an allergist to be able to perform an organ transplant just because they're both doctors. It really bothered me that the listener praised First Amendment auditors for raising awareness. If that was the goal, First Amendment auditors would record videos of themselves calmly explaining how to make a FOIA request and advising on what is private versus public data. And that's obviously not the goal. Virality at the expense of public workers is the goal. And I just thought that was such a fucking good point.
Yeah. Intent is everything.
Intent, that's the word. Intent is everything. The intent of a First Amendment auditor is to get a shit ton of clicks on YouTube and make money. Okay, a lot of emails about people's phobias, which we talked about in a previous episode. Hannah in Chicago, toes touching.
Ugh. Yeah, that's gross.
Ever
See
since
those pictures of people like interlocking toes?
Oh, it's one of my favorite things.
Yeah, sure it is.
Ever since I was a kid, the thought of my toes touching each other has made me want to cut them off. I used to wear toe dividers for putting on nail polish and layer 3 pairs of socks over that. I now work with people with autism and realize I'm probably myself a bit on the spectrum. Lastly, I've developed a fear of flying. I thought of you, Rob. I'm going to sedate myself and go to Greece next summer. Which made me think, Rob, sedation to get you to New Zealand is an option.
We'll see.
There are very strong sleeping pills.
Yeah.
Dylan said, my wife and I both have some interesting phobias. So I'll tell you about them. We're certainly not as courageous as Bravid. His words, not mine. Starting with me. Side-on globophobia, the fear of cotton balls. I don't have it as bad as some of the others, but I still cannot stand touching them. I had this in high school, and my friends would play pranks on me by hiding them in my locker or their cars when they drove me somewhere.
Wait, can we pause just a second?
Mm-hmm.
The idea that a item like cotton balls then gets a scientific name
its
for
own
fear
name
of
attached.
is crazy. Not just fear of cotton balls. Like what fear of Kleenex? They're gonna then come up with another name.
And how many people have to have the specific fear
before it
gets a name?
And how are they naming it? Is
yes,
it
I've just
the
Googled
Latin
it.
Roots of it.
I've just Googled it, and it does seem very specific to cotton wool. Cotton balls are cotton wool.
I guess they've been around a long time, but
what are people generally using? I don't own cotton balls. Do you have them in your house?
No, I don't.
What are you using cotton balls for?
I
wounds.
Think wounds, and for like taking nail polish off. Women or men. Paint their nails.
Good point. I was just thinking, we had someone write in about how they don't want their toes touching. Imagine if you had that fear, but then you also have a fear of cotton balls, so you can't use those to keep your toes apart.
Yeah, because she was using that.
It's fascinating.
Yep.
I describe touching a cotton ball as the feeling of having my soul sucked out of my fingertips. I haven't willfully touched one since 2005. He also has caborophobia, which is, I think I also have this. It's a fear of crabs. I don't know what else to say, but crabs are my biggest fear.
Pubic crabs?
I'm guessing big crabs.
Okay. Can you see, is there a different
pubic
name
crabs are also crab-like, but just very small.
For the STD crab? Fear of the
so
STD
look,
crabs?
I Googled it. I'm getting a lot of pictures of big ocean crabs.
Okay, fair.
As opposed to I've never had crabs, the STI, which I'm grateful for.
Me neither.
I don't know what else to say, but crabs are my biggest fear. I'm paralyzed near them, but have a morbid curiosity where I have to watch them, but make sure I keep a safe distance.
So you're afraid of crabs?
Yeah, every kid at the beach, I feel like when I was a kid in New Zealand, and if something bit my toe, because in the sand, they'd grab you, and I would yelp and scream, and I'd be really worried about putting my feet on the ocean floor because I don't want to be bitten. Mm-hmm. So I would say most people are fearful. I haven't seen anyone run towards a crab and sort of pick one up. Because you know what's going to happen? You're going to get fucking bitten.
You're not watching enough Survivor, David.
Oh, man. Do they do a lot of that in Survivor?
They do eat a lot of crab. They try to get
catch them.
But I mean, some crabs are tiny. Are you afraid of the baby ones?
No.
Okay.
I picked up a tiny crab.
Yeah, they're cute.
They are cute.
There's this restaurant, Kin Can, in Los Angeles, that they do like a tasting menu that takes you from like north to south Thailand. And they have this dish with like little deep fried crab.
Oh, little tiny guys.
Or like a little baby guy that they like pose.
I remember in school we had a science teacher, Dr. Layton. She also looked after our sort of form class.
Yeah, she had crabs.
She had crabs in the... she had crabs. She was a...
both kinds.
God, she was a very God-fearing woman. Had crabs in the science room. And one day, some shitty kid released the crabs.
Yeah.
And the crabs got out. The crabs, a lot of them died, which is I love it. Sort of awful. But I just remember her just being so angry that this had happened. Like, I just remember the most guilt-filled sort of session from her in class, like trying to say, like, who let these crabs out?
Yeah.
It's like we'd we'd killed like 15 babies or something. It was really intense. But we should look after our crabs.
Did you have in New Zealand restaurants that just had like a tank with like live lobsters that they would? Okay,
we did.
That's not an American thing to
that's
display your
always the
food before you
kids.
kill it.
Yeah, no, that's definitely in New Zealand also. Okay, he then moves on to his wife, who is also riddled with anxieties. Taxidermophobia. This is fear of taxidermy. So better not invite them to our live show, or I hope they're not watching this video of our studio. The bigger the animal, the worse her reaction is. She's in a Facebook group where people can ask each other if there is taxidermy at a public place, so she can know where is safe and where she can avoid.
Wow, is there that much public taxidermy?
They start to pop up. They're around. Every single unknown restaurant we go to, I have to walk in first and scan the place for her to make sure it's clear and tell her exactly what is there, how big, and where it is. After our friends got married in Seattle, they had an after party at a place called Unicorn. We got out of the Uber. She looked inside. We got right back in the Uber and went to the Airbnb. I'll never be able to take her to the Field Museum in Chicago or any other natural history museum with her ever, Dylan.
Field Museum is great too.
I mean, I wonder if it's like, I get hating taxidermy because it's like that was once a beautiful live animal.
Right, this seems different.
The phobia is like a fear of this thing.
I don't know, is the fear also that like it's going to come alive?
Yeah, what is the fear? If there was a very still penguin alive and a very taxidermied penguin next to each other, what one will elicit fear? Is it thinking that one is they're both taxidermy? Is it
also stuffed animals?
It's another issue.
That's
what's
you get
the
some
line?
Very realistic looking.
You can
stuffed animals,
some plush toys.
Yeah.
Finally, Mike
White.
Yeah, Mike White. He's got some things to say about Survivor.
I was not voted off first from my tribe.
Rob, I'm an American.
I would like to publicly apologize to Mike White for saying that.
And Mike White, if you're listening, flightlessbirdchat@gmail.com. We would love to have you here. Mike says, I'm an American living in New Zealand since 2010. Adventurous American, exotic New Zealand. You know the story. I've got a nagging question for David, and I think you're the only one who can address it with the absurd and unnecessary attention it doesn't deserve. Brought versus bought. When you buy something, you have bought it. When you bring something, you have brought it. Why do New Zealanders use brought in place of bought, and sometimes vice versa? Could you please address or dismiss the topic as you see fit? Also, has Rob ever pointed this out to you or been tripped up by it? Your podcast makes you feel more grounded, having a foot in both cultural worlds. Mike, have you noticed?
I've noticed it. So I try to walk a line with you. I don't.
We had one today.
Yeah, we did.
Maryland.
Yes, Maryland.
It doesn't have a Mary. It's Maryland.
Maryland, yeah.
Maryland.
Yeah. I don't try to bring it up to make fun of you or tease you when I say it.
No.
It's more, I don't want you to think you're saying it right.
Yeah.
Continue to say it wrong, and then the bully at the playground.
Not you, another. Yeah, completely.
For saying Maryland.
You also have the problem where you don't know whether it is my New Zealandisms and whether it is that or it's just my incompetency with the English language. Yeah, There's also that problem.
I'm normally assuming that it's just you're saying it differently and that all New Zealanders maybe say it differently or Americans are saying it wrong.
Yes. Yeah.
So I have heard you say brought and bought kind of interchangeably.
Yes, so that is something I would definitely not put that on all New Zealanders. Mm-hmm. I just know that I always mess that up. Much like when I say library, not library, I miss some like letters.
Or yar.
What?
What's the
what was that?
What's the Australian one?
Oh no, that's the Australian. Yeah, no. The Australians are incapable of saying no.
I love them.
No. So no, I would say bought and brought. I'm aware of it when I'm typing them out. I know the difference. But when it comes to saying them, I don't fucking know what's going to come out. I don't know. I don't know what the order is when I get it right, when I get it wrong.
Yeah, you don't know.
Correct me anytime, Rob, about anything. And I will do the same with you.
Please do.
Thank you for listening to Flightless Bird this year.
This has been an incredible year for the show.
It's good. It feels like it knows what it is, the show, and people are listening.
Well, I mean, we did all of our live shows this year.
My God, that was this year.
That was all this year.
Those were fun.
Yeah.
Those were a blast.
We did a bunch of those.
And that makes this kind of thing we do alone in this little studio feel real and alive when there's a bunch of people turning up and there's a band playing.
Hopefully we'll do some more in 2026.
That would be great. We have a lot of topics to bring you. Our fear that we once had at the beginning, possibly of like, will we run out of ideas? That has been proven sort of almost hideously wrong. It's like there's too much to do where it gets daunting.
I mean, we could do 6 months on
reality
TV.
No joke.
Yeah.
Very easy to do. If you're, thanks for listening and thanks for telling your friends about the show. Thanks for liking and subscribing and all that stuff. For anyone that has rated us on Apple Music or Spotify, that's a huge help in like spreading it out into the algorithm. Anyone that's joined our Patreon in the last couple of months, thank you so much.
Patreon.com/flightlessbird.
Yeah, it's great putting out ad-free stuff there. We put out bonus episodes every week, and it's just another reminder that there's a really lovely community of people that want to support what we do. And that is, I think we both like making the show. I feel like we like making it, but having the feedback and the audience is, I'd say, like 90% of the joy of it as well. Like without that, it's not worth doing. We're nothing. So, and I think as Nick kind of demonstrated today in the episode, like, holy shit, we have some lovely listeners and just feel very lucky to have anyone listening to the show.
I 100% agree.
Finally, I just wanted to play Pookie, which is Nick's band that he has, instrumental math rock.
How do you spell that?
Pookie. Very cute kind of a name, Pookie. This is called Thank You for Your Service. They're on all music streaming platforms. I really like Pookie, really like Nick. And yeah, I'll keep you up to date next year with how Nick's New Zealand trip goes and how the whole health thing goes. I'm going to keep in touch with him. This is Thank You for Your Service.
Okay, that was Pookie.
Love Pookie.
And like always, we're on Patreon now.
Patreon.com/Flightless Bird.
Here's a clip from this week's bonus episode.
See you there. So you had a suggestion for what we do in this segment sometimes, which I think is a fucking good idea.
So once a month, the idea is we cover just some sort of dark topic that will alternate.
A mystery.
A cult, a killing, a mystery, a murder.
So we're discussing the Los Feliz murder house today.
Yes. As rumor was, this house, this gruesome murder happened. This man murdered his family on Christmas morning or Christmas Eve. And you can go look in the window and everything is still left how it was. That there's still a Christmas tree up with presents under the tree.
Incredibly creepy.
Yeah.
7-part podcast series that came out in 2021. Stacey Astenius did it. So I just messaged her.
I am a very logical person. I like to research things. I find facts. And so I was like, bullshit, that can't be real. Hardly ever do you find a house that has any kind of interesting background, let alone documentation of that. Honestly, everything about this house was like blowing my mind constantly.
When we were writing Dark Tourist, had this hideous sort of catchphrase that we wrote into a lot of the episodes, which was like, but that's just another normal day when you're a dark tourist.
No, it's just another day for Braven.